a follow-up on a June police shooting involving Peoria police. We've learned that the officer who shot and killed an unarmed man, Matthew Cardone, near 87th Avenue in Pershing, did not have his body camera activated. Cardone was shot multiple times after video shows him following a woman walking her toddler in a stroller. Peoria police say witnesses saw Cardone grab the woman and try to kidnap her child before running the other direction. Moments later, a police cruiser drove by and you can hear 7 gunshots fired at Cardone, who died in the neighborhood where this happened. The officer involved was cleared of any criminal wrongdoing by the Maricopa County Attorney's Office last October. So let's take a legal deep dive into this case. Joining me now is criminal defense attorney Hector Diaz of Diaz Law. All right, as we just said, the officer's body cam was not activated when this shooting happens. So when there is no video of the actual shooting, how does this factor into the investigation? Yeah, it is odd. I'm going to tell you it's odd, and I'll tell you why it's odd. Because the officers are trained that when they're responding to a scene, and in some cases, I mean, as a criminal defense attorney, that's one of the first things I look at is the body camera, right? Because that shows everything, and it says everything. And it's the best evidence in some situations, right? Is that you'll see the officer, and they'll turn them on often in the vehicle. So before they're even getting out of the vehicle, they are engaging them and then get out, and then you see the situation unfolding. So here, I think the explanation here is, hey, this was traumatic, or this was really an ongoing emergency situation, and I just didn't think of it, or I put the safety of the community at beyond turn on my body camera. Right. It does seem odd. In this case, I think without the body camera, what you're gonna have is a situation in terms of the officer's statements. Undoubtedly, he submitted to an interview with, Glendale PD. They're the ones investigating this. And he had to explain the use of force here. And so at the end of the day, would the body camera have clarified, been the best evidence, explained why he felt justified in using deadly force here in this situation with somebody who I think was unarmed. Right. And so it'll just be on statements. Right. Okay. So because the officer was cleared of any criminal wrongdoing, does that mean he's completely off the hook? No, he could face disciplinary action. Right. At the end of the day, his law enforcement agency, I think it's Peoria Police, could look at this and give him, especially if there have been prior instances of some kind of misconduct at work, this could factor into his overall performance, ultimately even lead to his termination potentially. All right, Hector Diaz, thank you so much.